Okay. Hello. Hi, Sonia. So we've got Sonya Benham here to chat to us. And actually, I reached out to Sonia on Instagram in our last wrap prompt because a lot of Sonia's incredible fiber art is wrapped pieces. But we didn't get around to talking because Christmas came and then I was talking to Sonia, so we met up for a cup of tea. But before that, I was reading on her website and I was like, oh my goodness, this absolutely not only fits our last prompt, but fits our prompt of differences. So I'm just going to read Sonia's about piece that she's got on her website, an exploration in texture. My work is a study of contradiction. It's art and craft, retro yet contemporary, playful but deliberate. Their tensions are what I find so compelling about fiber art. In my practice, I blend traditional macrame with sculptural wrap fiber, weaving, sewing, and decorative knotting to create unique wall decor. I use a wide variety of materials, including rope, yarn, string, twine, metallic cord, and dye to create work that is full of texture and contrast. I reside on the far north side of Chicago, in an area where access to nature is abundant. The combination of urban and organic structures is yet another dichotomy that serves as the primary inspiration for my creations. Other influences include the work of fellow artists, particularly ceramics, sculpture, and painting. So much to talk about in Sonia. It's so lovely that you agreed to chat to us for no rules. So you're in your basement studio at the minute, and yeah, over to you. Say hello because I've just been talking so much. It's really lovely that you're here.
Thanks for having me. This is a big treat. I love to talk about fiber art with anyone who will listen. And yeah, I'm thrilled to
And
be
when we
here.
talked, when we had a cup of tea before, I was looking back on my notes, you told me a story about how you got to the work that you're producing now. It was almost kind of happy accident. And I love that story. Do you want to tell us that story to kind of kick off?
Sure, sure. I was doing a lot of macrame work and incorporating a little bit of weaving and maybe a little crochet in there too at times. But I saw a pair of earrings that were knots, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. What if I took the knot and just made it much bigger? So I started working with really thick rope, and
When was this, Sonia? How many years ago was this?
oh gosh, maybe 10,
Wow.
maybe 10, yeah.
Have you always done this, just to kind of go back even further? Have you? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really terrible with time.
Yeah. Me too.
No, I have not always been a fiber artist. I did go to college and studied art, but I did mostly painting and drawing, a little bit of photography.
Okay.
Back then.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I decided what I was going to do was wrap a bundle of string and yarn with yarn, and then fold it into a knot. And so I did that. I spent a lot of time wrapping this yarn, and then I tried to fold the knot, and I don't know, it may not seem intuitive. It seems very obvious to me now, but when you're pulling and tightening a knot, it creates like gaps on the outside. Just even bending something that's been wrapped, you're going to see some of the white underneath because the yarns are going to spread. And so I just got really frustrated. I untied the knot and I started to pull the yarn off, but instead of unwrapping it like a civilized person, because I was angry, I was just pulling it and yanking and just being really angry about it. And what happened is it created this kind of texture where you could see the the fill underneath and the wrapping, and it almost made like a zebra kind of birch pattern.
Yeah.
And it was a happy accident, and that wrap pattern has kind of become
I
like
love
a
that.
signature thing for me.
I love that story. I love it when you find something through happy accident, and the fact that you're crossing over your disciplines because you kind of your training or what you started out in was like painting and photography, and then you kind of it's lovely sort of taking those skills and moving them into fiber and kind of using it like that. But then you kind of
Yeah, well,
sorry, go on.
I think that's okay. I think that we talked about it before, but I was doing all, painting and drawing in college, and then a little bit afterwards dabbling, but I was working office jobs, and so I took up knitting as a way to just kind of keep making things, because I find so much joy in that.
Yeah.
So I knit, and I learned how to sew, and just whenever I had free time, did kind of these craft projects. And then I didn't tell you this part, but when I was in my early 30s, I went completely mad and went to beauty school.
Okay.
So yeah, my whole
That's really
life's just
interesting.
like, how do I
Yeah.
find a way to survive and make things at the same time? And I was just thinking it was a way to be able to be creative, to be working with my hands, and so I did that, and so I was a hairstylist for a number of years. So when
it's still fiber, Sonya.
Yeah, it really is. So
yeah,
I feel like fiber art is this really beautiful integration of all of the experiences I've had in my creative life coming
because
together.
actually I'm thinking about one of your posts where you were like trimming the end of something, and you were like, these are like my breadcrumbs. That was you.
It absolutely informs the way I work in trimming yarn, but also just so many braiding techniques are the same. You use knots in hairstyle, like, because I love to do like formal event styling, and because that just be creative and fun. So there's a lot of knots in that, and I have incorporated a lot of braids in my work as well.
I absolutely love that. That's brilliant. So have you got, let's see, we're talking about all this, but if anyone doesn't know you or hasn't seen your Instagram account, they're probably like, so what is it that you do? Show us through some of them.
Well, I can show you just like with the things I have around here.
Yeah, I love that.
I have a few things that like, I have a tendency to collect bits of things where I start something and then I'm like, something else happens and something gets in the way.
That's so
just
totally
an example
in
of
no
the
rules.
wrapping pattern. Like I can just show you this because it's like, it's just a little tiny link, but that's kind of what I mean by the wrapping pattern, like that I use. And usually it's white fill with like a black or another color on the outside. And so that kind of makes a cool pattern.
You made the link on that, or have you wrapped?
Yes. And I am very much, I think that what appeals to me so much about no rules is that that's exactly my philosophy of art. Like, I think when I was young, and I'm probably dating myself here, but there were so many rules. It was, if you don't stretch your own canvas, you're not a real artist. If you don't draw from life, you're not a real artist.
I was thinking about one. I was told at one point, if you can't draw properly, you can't do abstract art. And I mean, I believe that for years.
And
Crazy.
the truth is, there's just no rules.
Yeah.
Like, and so the reason why I don't call my art macrame anymore
Yeah.
is because technically it isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's made of knots. That's about all that
Yeah.
it has in common. And that it's really more sculptural, and I use wire like in this one, and I use backing materials, and
Well, it
I
gives you
sew
total freedom
together.
and you use
Yes.
hairdressing techniques. Yeah.
Hmm.
So with this one, did you only make, I'm kind of going, all right, so you made one and you were like, that's it. Because the potential within that, you could do so many things with that. You could, those links, you could make 10 and make a larger pieces. And you're just like, okay, well, that's fine. Let's put that over there and that can develop in some, in another time. You've kind of almost got the seed of idea in it. You don't need to make the whole thing yet. Is that what you, is
Yeah, I definitely have made those. I
it?
can show you one if you want me to take it
Yeah.
out. This is a really big one that
That
I made.
was what I was talking about. Yeah.
So what I
Wow.
love about so I have a black one here
Okay.
too, but what's so cool about these is you can hang them any which way.
Yeah. And
So
I
you can
guess you could, it's like make it yourself sculpture. You could do so many things with it.
exactly, you can have them be, just an arc, or you can have it from the ceiling if you want.
Wow.
This one was in an art show, and they hung it like half on the wall and half from the ceiling.
Oh, I love
So
it.
the link going down. It
Yeah.
looked really cool.
It was quite magic that you brought those out from underneath your desk.
Yeah, I've
Show
got
us
lots
some
of.
more. Show us some more. Just talk us
Um,
through some of your things. It's wonderful.
sure. So this one I just finished. Actually, I haven't even put this on Instagram yet.
Amazing.
I
Yeah.
really, really like it. And as you can see, I have figured out how to wrap completely
Yeah.
without getting frustrated and tearing it apart.
I'm kind of totally in awe. So is that kind of wool that you've wrapped that in? It looks like wool.
You know what? It's actually acrylic.
Oh,
And
really? Wow.
it might be like a wool acrylic blend.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing is I used to be very strict about what materials I use. Like, I only wanted to use natural materials. I think particularly with macrame,
Mm.
um, if you use like any sort of polycord, is just ugh, it just doesn't. It's not appealing to me.
Yeah.
Um, but lately, I have been using a lot of different. Just I used to use only cotton, and
Yeah.
now I'm using like cotton and wool and acrylic. And just if I see something and I like it, I pick it up.
Yeah.
And that happened just from going to thrift stores and estate
Yeah, I wondered
sales,
that.
and finding some really cool old unique yarns and using them, and the way people reacted. I mean, you do tend to get such bright colors, and I don't worry about those pieces fading as much, or
Yeah.
yeah.
And they probably have that longevity that they can't get moths and and silk can be like disintegrating the light and all that kind of stuff. But also I think what I love about going to like estate sales and all that kind of stuff, or flea markets, is it's kind of up to the universe what you find, and it's kind of this lovely flow. So you're kind of like, oh, I just like that, and it comes, you know, it just kind of happens, and then you work with it, and it kind of informs how you work, and there's just a nice flow state to that, which is really cool.
Absolutely. I love just any kind of found object. I'm a craft hoarder. I have bins and bins here of yarn and string, fabric and fabrics. I used to work for an interior designer, so I have a whole giant bin full of textile
Yeah.
samples, mostly for furniture. So they're kind of thick to sew through. But
We were
yeah, I'm
talking
using.
about that the other day in No Rules. We were saying how you should kind of shop your own studio because the thrill of finding stuff is always there. Oh, what's that?
Yeah, so this is like, for example, this is this fabric. It's from my bin of goodies.
Oh, such a great.
Every once in a while, we had a bigger sample, and I had more
Wow.
than just a little
So the
bit.
one
So
that you just held up with the colors, how
mhm.
tell us how you kind of how did you work out how to wrap it so evenly, when it was kind of moving before? Is that a secret or can you tell us?
Oh no, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Uh, well, honestly, this one is a little bit trickier.
Uh-huh.
Basically, I just wrap them much tighter, and I don't mean like tight, like I wrap it tight.
Yeah.
Like every inch or so, I push it
Okay.
together, so
And
there's less room.
do you wrap it straight or do you wrap it as it, in the form?
Sometimes in the form,
Okay.
yeah. That's the easiest way to do it for sure. Like I did film a little video of myself
Did you?
fold this
Yeah.
into which I had to like, time lapse quite a bit.
Yeah.
Um, so keep on the lookout for that. But
Hmm.
it took me a long time to
Wow.
fold because as I'm going, I have to, smooth it out
Yeah.
and rearrange the
It's
wrap.
incredible though.
But so I can show you that this is I have little ties on here to mark
Oh,
certain. But this is kind of how I work things out. Like I'll play around with the smaller
yeah.
uh,
And what's this made of?
cord. This is Bobany cord. Bobany is the brand. It's like a braided exterior with a cotton fill, 100% cotton.
It looks like
Um,
it's tie-dyed or
it's
something. It's,
I did.
did you? I love it.
Yeah. So I have lots of like little bits of rope
Yeah.
and things that I've played with, and then I just
Yeah.
work out
So you
a
almost
shape
make a
I
prototype.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I do, because I want to see what it's gonna look like. And
Mm,
sometimes
yeah.
I'll even like make a knot like this and then put it in Procreate and
Oh,
work out where
wow.
colors.
That's interesting.
hmm
Mm,
Because I mean, it just depends. Sometimes I want to just wing it,
yeah.
but other times,
But do you wing it anyway? Like, so we're in the making as it kind of goes. Do you kind of go, it's telling me it's going to be like this actually, and just go, of course you
well,
do.
all the time.
Yeah. It was a silly question, Sonya.
Yeah. Actually,
It's like a baggy plan that you have.
this one was, I don't know if you can see it all, but
Yeah, that's amazing.
it was supposed to be that knot.
Right.
And then
I love that.
yeah, and then I folded it into that knot,
Yeah.
and the pattern was too busy.
Yeah. The
The
pattern, all about the pattern on that. Tell us a bit more about the pattern because I can't really see. Or can you bring it a bit closer so we can sort of see detail? Oh wow.
and this is honestly just luck. This is like
Right.
me finding a yarn that had all these colors in it, but
A
it looks
knitting
nothing
yarn.
like this when it's wrapped.
Yeah.
It looks like speckled, I would say, if you were gonna like knit with it. But
I think
when
my
you wrap
friend
with it,
knits with these. Is it like a sock yarn? Maybe. No.
this one is not. It's too
Okay.
thick.
Right.
Too thick.
But it's
But it is.
amazing. It almost looks quite landscapey in the colors as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's very earthy, these
Yeah, it's
colors.
beautiful.
But yeah, but then that kind of ties into your theme of the back and forth, because I love taking
Yeah,
something like really earthy yarn, but then I want this
really
very
modern.
geometric,
Yeah.
strong shape to it.
Wow. I love.
But yeah, so this is a good example of just having to let it
Yeah.
talk.
Let it talk to you. That's exactly what I was going to say. But I think the thing is, when you let things talk to you, you kind of get to that through a lot of play and practice. You get
Right.
better at that, at letting things talk to you, don't you? Because you've done it and you
Absolutely.
sort of know yourself and like, and also recognizing what it is that are your influences as well. You're sort of going, yeah, but actually this pattern is needs to be the main conversation of the piece. And then also it's kind of, quite natural. And then so I'm going to make that really interesting by having the difference of this kind of modern shape, and it kind of
Right.
completely works, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
else have you got? Show us other things. You got any other things there?
Well, if you want to talk
What are the
about,
braids that are on your door? I'm kind of like, is it on hung up? Are they just
oh, these are, just parts of things that I haven't done anything with yet.
okay?
Yeah, there's some.
Sorry, I'm being
This
really
is
nosy.
a little bit that I knit. I got it,
Right.
and I just haven't done anything
Oh,
with
is
it.
that on one of those dolly bobbins? Is that what they call them in America?
It's an I cord.
An I-cord, yeah. I've got one of those
Yeah,
actually. Yeah, love
yeah.
it.
And then this is like when I trimmed um, the ends.
Oh wow.
I've used these for I use this kind of bobbiny knot a lot for what are those monkey fist knots? Do you know those? It's
No?
like a really tight knot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure I have one somewhere. I have a. Okay, this is not a monkey's fist knot, but this is a. Can you see
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
It's a plaster cast of one.
Right. I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is actually, I think, a square knot that I took apart and somehow made this chain.
I love that you
So
have all
yeah,
these
it's
component
just all
bits
these little.
waiting to be like, oh, come. You know
Yeah,
what it is. Absolutely.
yeah. Sometimes I like the way things look. I can show you more. I have right now. I've
I'm
got
really enjoying seeing all of this.
these two pieces
Oh
that I have
wow.
no idea what to do with.
Okay.
I
And
had an idea,
tell us what they are.
and
How have you done that? Like round
this
that?
is a this is called a well, the way I learned in my book, it's called a lanyard knot. I've
Right.
also heard it called a crown knot.
Yeah.
And so it's just several pieces of different colored string
Amazing.
that has been knotted all together.
Yeah.
Each round is a knot.
And what are they knotted onto? These
It
shapes?
is on wire, and inside there is a squishy poly filled thick yarn.
Wow. That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really exciting to just have these. I mean, I used to I admitted that I put collages together on Instagram and I never stick them down or sew them up. I just like playing with these bits and just seeing what I can come up with. And they're really temporary, but it's really nice to kind of experiment with them and have these, just bits flying around the studio. And sometimes I weave things as well and then take them out and do another weave on them, if I've got something that's quite net-like. It's just a lovely play, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you have to just mess around until you figure out a way to incorporate it or make it into a fully formed idea. I think
I've been known to have things for like literally years, and then it happens.
Yeah,
or I'll buy raw materials and I'll know that it's for something, but literally 4 years later I'll go, I know. I take it out and I do the thing. But I know when I find it or when I do it that I know it's got an end point, but I'm just not sure what that is yet. I'm not ready for it, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I keep thinking of a lot of people de-stash.
Yeah. And we're doing that actually.
I just can't do it. I'm like, what if I need this someday? I know that won't happen. It'll inevitably happen.
Yeah, I think I kind of try and de-stash by going, could I easily buy it again? I would never de-stash like my vintage or actually any of my old samples, because I will quite often take an old sample as a kind of layer and I come across a new technique and then do that on top or, collage with it. And so, yeah, it's rare that something goes in the bin when normally when I've chopped it up into such tiny pieces that it's just hopeless then.
Yeah.
But it could still go on to water soluble. So do you predominantly just do wrapping now, or do you ever do any other things? Or is this your practice?
Oh, no, I do.
Fiber.
I like to switch things up a little bit. Yeah, I definitely will do, like this has no wrapping, these. And I still love to do dyeing, although.
Yes, I was going to mention dyeing. I love your ombre dip dyed pieces.
Yeah, I really love doing that. I have, this is what's on my rack right now.
Oh, wow.
That I did in the summertime.
That's amazing. Is that a clothes rack that you're working on? Or is it a special thing?
Yes.
Wow.
No, it's a clothing rack, and it's like a staple for every macrame artist has one.
Amazing.
But you can lift it up and down and, not strain so much while you're working.
How did you dye that so specifically?
Spray bottles.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah. It's almost like airbrush. And I have this over here that it's also waiting for a project, but like I said, I can't do too much dyeing in the wintertime because it's too messy for me to do indoors. I can do smaller bits in the sink, but I tend to make a big mess. So we're talking like out in the yard with a tarp underneath it and towels.
I love that. And I'm thinking the weavers in our group would be looking at that and going, oh, hang on, there might be already, but like if you had a loom set up like that and that's your warp, using spray bottles across it could be very cool.
That's exactly, that's basically what this is. I will eventually do a macrame tapestry on that. I'm just trying to work out what and how I want to do it. So I'll show you one of those. This is just a little itty bitty baby one. But,
wow. So this is macrame.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just all macrame knots that go across. And I will do that with that one as well. Yeah. This is a little sample I made for a class.
Oh, it's lovely. Can we see the black and white one on the end of your rail? Because you know how much I love black and white.
Oh yeah, you know what? This isn't. This is also bits at this moment. But
is it? I love it.
But I'm liking it like this, and this is again.
Oh wow! I'm
Kind
liking it like that.
yeah, I think I do too. I mean, I've got it rubber banded together down here.
But actually, when you held it up with the the sort of spray painted piece behind it, it looks amazing as well. It's like, layering it and everything, isn't it? Just
Yeah. What happened with this is another happy accident. Like I said, I had made this into a different piece
mm,
and took it apart. Several bits of it got ruined. And so I just cut those sections out and they created these sort of like bubbles.
yeah, I love the bubbles.
I
And
do
again, it's
too.
kind of like it feels quite organic, but it's in black and white, so it's quite severe. The color of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So I love like, when you just walk around, when I walk around my neighborhood, I feel very inspired when I see, vines crawling up a brick wall
Yeah.
or leaves, blades of grass growing out of a crack in the sidewalk. And, just all these sort of like the mix of the hard with the soft
You see it
is really,
literally as fiber art. It's like transforming in front of your eyes.
yeah, I mean, I really have so many ideas when it comes to those images in particular, but I think a lot of just general texture and uh, the mixture of hard and soft and organic and kind of geometric comes from that.
Yeah.
But I would love to someday do like a series of more just textile, like fabric pieces
Mm.
based on that with like embroidery or maybe like
Mm.
something or it's something in, that's more mixed media.
That's interesting. Maybe that's what's percolating because I was just looking in my book because this morning I was talking to one of our No Rules members and she said something and she said dreaming and percolating and planting the seeds. What a lovely sentence kind of that was. So that's kind of what I was going to ask you next. What is next? Do you think that's what you're kind of percolating to bring? I mean, it may be that comes in, like maybe there's embroidery actually on your sculptures, like it still stays what you're doing, but you're kind of bringing those, keeping on experimenting and bring those elements in, do you think? Or I don't know. What's your
Absolutely.
plan?
I definitely think that what I find interesting in life in general, or what in my artwork is it's sort of like creating problems and then trying to solve them.
I love
so
that.
so I think that's where like getting inspiration in nature or like sketching something out and then thinking, okay, how am I going to make this come to life?
Yeah.
It's really fun for me.
But when you just use what you've got as well, you're like, okay, I don't have that. So how can I make something like that, from
Absolutely.
what I have? That can be really quite cool as well to kind of,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I want to keep experimenting with more sculptural
yeah,
work.
yeah. I love it.
If it's a wall hanging, but just maybe pushing the limits of what you can do with that. I want to use more found objects like thrift store
Mm.
finds, things like that. Even as just supports on the back. I've been thinking about that, finding wire structures and maybe clipping them apart and then using that as a base. I don't know. I have lots of ideas.
Mm. Yeah, that's really cool. And then while you're talking, I'm probably hearing other people go, can we just have a look at the very colorful piece that you've got at the other end of the
Oh, yeah.
view? Just bring it forward, Sonya. Let's have a look. That's amazing. Wow.
Thanks. So, This
I love the
is
black within that. That's quite like, whoa.
this came about again just like a happy accident where I was making ornaments for the holidays. I
Uh-huh.
was at my mother-in-law's for a week for Thanksgiving, so I only had brought a bag of yarns. I kind of ran out of really long pieces, so I started just using several different ones
Yeah.
and mixing them all together. And I thought, made these little, like, Frankenstein baby knot wall hanging, ornaments. And
Yeah.
I thought, these are really cool. So the first thing I did this year was make 3 of these kind of mixed wrap pieces. One really long oblong piece, one loop-de-loop kind of chain wall hanging, and this guy. And this is the only one left. So I'm really happy.
Oh, because you sold them. Were they in galleries?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, where are you displaying? Where is your work seen? Galleries? You're represented by a few galleries, aren't you?
I'm not
Yeah.
actually.
Oh,
I
no. Okay.
posted it myself.
Yeah.
I
So this
am
is from
on.
Instagram.
I sell through Instagram often. I sell on Etsy often,
Okay.
and I have my own website. But I have actually yet to sell a piece on through my own site.
Oh,
It's
really?
not happened. Yeah. So, um, I would say most of my traffic comes through Etsy, but a lot also comes through Instagram. Or I get, what does happen through my site is people use the contact page.
Right.
I think one of the reasons why I have so much yarn is because, I have a ton, and then every single person that reaches out to me with a custom piece or commission, which I'm not complaining, I'm happy to take
Oh, I love
any
that.
any commission, but it always requires a palette that I don't have, or that I can't figure out from my stash, and then I have to order more, and
Yeah.
I don't want to run out in the middle because of what of dye lots and all this. So
Yeah.
I end up with like so much
Yeah.
yarn. But
That's
I'm
how
glad
I got.
finding ways to use up the smaller bits.
Yeah, I
And
love
it's
that.
been well received.
Oh, so you don't, so you haven't had your work exhibited in galleries. I can imagine it would look incredible. Or you have.
I have done
Oh, I read
like
that you did.
several group shows,
Yes.
and I've had a couple solo shows.
Right.
And I did. Chicago has a gallery design district gallery walk every fall, and so I took part in that as well.
Oh, wonderful.
So had a few things going, and I would love to do more for sure. That's
But I
definitely a
think
goal.
now is the time, isn't it? It's like fiber art is like seems to be kind of being much more accepted and sort of exploding on the art scene, so it's kind of,
It really is.
and I can imagine these just look incredible in a gallery.
Thank you.
Yeah, really fantastic. Thank you so much, Sonya, for sharing all that with us. Just been brilliant to sort of see what you do and kind of your process behind it. I think it's just always cool to go, actually, yeah, many of us have these processes and we do work experimentally and we don't have a plan, and there's all these things like yet to kind of do. So yeah, just wonderful. Thank you so much. Really
Thank
wonderful.
you so much for
And where
having
can
me.
people find you, Sonya, to see more of your work?
Well, they can go to sonyabenham.com. That's just SONYABENHAM.com. I'm at sonya.benham on Instagram. And, you can just Google me and find me. I think if you put in Sonya Benham on Pinterest, you can find me there. Threads. I'm on all that. I just joined Blue Sky today.
Blue Sky. What is that?
It's a new app. It's an app that lot of people are going to because they're frustrated with
Uh-huh.
certain aspects of the
Yes.
current choices.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I will put all the links below in No Rules, but just in case this video gets shared anywhere else, that there isn't a link below. I just wanted to do that. Anyway, Sonya, thank you so much.
Sorry about the noise
Oh, no,
too.
fine. You're in your basement.
Yes, I'm in my basement, and it is. I mean, I think yesterday was colder in Chicago than in Antarctica. Is what my husband told me. It was like -7 when I woke up.
Wow.
Yesterday. Today, I think it was like 5 when I took my dog out.
Yeah,
So
it's quite cold here actually as well at the
I
moment.
would turn the heat off, but I cannot.
No, because you'd be shivering. No, don't do that. Right.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Okay, so we said goodbye, and then Sonya and I started talking about fabric recipes, which is coming up, and I was going, because Sonia's work is so signaturely Sonya. I don't know whether that's a word, and we were just kind of going, I said, wouldn't it be amazing if you kind of used other techniques and wove into the wrapping like it was a warp. And Sonya was like, well, funny you should say that. I've just done that. And she was showing me this piece and I wanted to come back on and show you. So
yeah, I mean, It's a little different. I like your idea too of using the wrap as a warp, but these are I never throw anything away because I love to use just random found things in the more sculptural work. And these are just the tubes, the empty cardboard tubes from the inside of string. And then I warped them and then just wove over the cardboard and made these, and then stuck these hand-dyed ropes inside there. And I made a little like hanger for the back. So you can hang it this way, with grommet. I love to use it's on the back side just to make things easy to hang.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's so cool. Thank you for showing us that. Right. Bye, everyone. We are going now.
Bye.
Bye.